Let's talk a little bit about the endurance events. I guess we'll start with the guy side returners: Clint Anders, Patrick Kroll, and then 3 newcomers with Carl Schreiber, Logan Terry, and Freddie Ariano. Just kind of go over the guys' endurance events.
Okay. Well, and on the returners, Clint and Patrick are guys that love being around, and that level of dedication is there. That's never ever been in doubt. And as you know, with distance training, it's the conglomeration of years of training before you really start to see success. And I think those guys are actually getting to that point now. I know early time trials, Clint, had a great 1500 and ran under 4 minutes, which is a huge PR for him. But that's, he can do that at the conference meet. That's going to score well every single year. And then Patrick in the steeplechase, I think those guys are coming along and are a great group for those other 3 guys you mentioned to really come in and train around. With Freddie being a transfer guy coming out of Colby, he's coming out of a junior college setting. He's seen very good distance running. Those that have ever been around junior college distance running, it's very much dominated by foreigners, and so he's very used to seeing guys with international competition that you race against every week. So he's another guy that's come in and done a great job, and love being around him. Logan, freshman from Kingwood, another guy who's coming in and is developing in that state, but has the pedigree coming out of high school. That he's put up some big marks and done some great things, and he's going to be a guy that we're going to be able to keep that good core of runners around here in the future. And then Carl too, another freshman from Germany, who really has really a lot of upsides ability-wise. I think he really kind of started to show some things across country. Not only is he a freshman in college, but he's also a freshman from another country coming into a completely different culture. And we drop him in 3 weeks later. Hey, now you have to start competing. Has done well in that. But these are guys that are going to be able to help us on the track outdoors. For our goals at the Southeast Conference Championships.
Okay. And then on the women's side, Alyssa Dooley returning along with Sarah Colazos. Kind of the expectations for those two going into this year.
Well, what can you say about Alyssa, who's someone who's just dedicated, talented, and every time she gets on the track, you love watching her run. Fully expect for her to be a conference champ in the 1500 this year. I mean, I know that is her stated goal. She wants to win the mile in the 1500 indoors and out, and there's absolutely no reason she can't do that. The ability level's there. Once again, it's one of those things. Her and Sarah as well. It's the years of training are actually starting to set in now, and you're seeing the results in the races. Sarah as well. I know here at the end of the fall semester was having some great training, and fitness levels are very high. So someone that can come in and score in those races for us, especially the steeple. I know she loves doing the steeple, but we'll see come conference meet time whether she's running the 5 and the 10 as well outdoors. But 2 very, very good girls can do very well for us.
Okay. And then we'll come back to your sprint and hurdle group. Obviously, Henry Jordan coming back running the sprints and the horizontal jumps. You kind of touched on Sunday and Christian already. But let's revisit the sprint and hurdle group and kind of the expectations.
Okay, and a big group like it is, once again, it's a big group, but it's also a very, very young group. We've got 1 senior in the group and 3 juniors, and everybody else is sophomores and a couple of freshmen scattered in there. Newcomers to the group. We signed Rodney Jones' brother, Trey, who's just a great kid. He's good to be around, dedicated to it. So having him in the fold as a freshman and being able to do some things early on, I think he's going to pan out and do a good job. Some of those guys we talked about, Brian Hilaire, Jesse Martinez, doing great jobs for us, as well as Rodney. Those guys stayed over the Christmas break and did a lot of training, and they knew if they went home they'd train, but it's just not the same as when you're in your group every day, getting after it. So they've done a great job, and once again, as sophomores coming back through, I think they're going to do some great things. Matthew Viverette, as a hurdler, when you switch to the collegiate hurdles from high school, you kind of have to have that epiphany and get it, and he's got it. He's figured it out now. So you know, it's still a guy who's as young as he is. Doesn't turn 19 for a while now, and is already in his sophomore year in college. But you know, I think he's probably grown 3 inches since he's been here. It's an exaggeration, but every time I see him, it's like, "Are you still growing?" But you know, just really doing some good things. Has figured the hurdles out and is figuring the technique end of it out, and you know, expect to see a lot of great things from him. On the women's side, you know, one little snafu in there. We did lose Leisha Foreman for at least the indoor season. She broke her foot early on in training in the fall, and had to have surgery and have a screw put in her foot. Jury's still out, deciding on what we're going to do as far as the outdoor season. You know, we've already discussed. You know, she knows obviously we're going to redshirt indoors, but you know, depending on fitness levels and where we're at outdoors, she may redshirt outdoors as well. She was already planning on staying here and getting her master's degree, so school-wise it fits well for her. She's doing a great job. You know, Tanisha Wimberly, Simbi George, and Ayana McGee. You know, two juniors and a sophomore there that, you know, will do some great things in the long sprints for us. You know, as well as, like we touched on, Sunday and Christian, who they're both having great falls right now, and I really think you know, you're going to see some breakout years from those girls. You know, and then, you know, Henry, you always got to talk about Henry. What a great story, just as a guy who tried to walk on his freshman year and got cut actually, and is now one of the top returning long jumpers and a finalist in the 100 meters here as a fifth-year senior, and will have his master's degree. Just great things.
Tell us a little bit about some of the football guys that have come out. Bookie Sneed was a freshman last year from Conroe. Had a great outdoor season, particularly right there towards the end. And then Preston Sanders throwing the shot put for us.
Yeah. Anytime you can have athletes like that, and I stress athletes, both of those guys are fantastic athletes in what they do. Preston is a big, explosive guy, and just kind of a gentle giant to be as ferocious as he is on the field, but you get around him personally, he's a great guy to be around. But you know, Preston's come in and done some great things. You know, he's really maturing in the shot. He's going to do some good things in the disc, and you know, Bookie as well is a guy who, you know, he didn't, you know, indoors was a little tough for him. Wasn't used to competing quite that early, and been playing football all fall, and you know, comes back in, gets about a week full of track training, and we drop him into his first meet there. So. But you know, he's a guy that came on so strong into the outdoor as a freshman. He's fourth. You know, runs a PR by over a second. So you know, really great things for him coming as well.
Okay. Now the football team's still playing. I got the national championship game here this Saturday, January 7th.
Yeah.
We're used to getting the football guys out a little bit earlier. Is this going to make things a little bit more difficult since they're still in season?
You know, difficult. Yes. No. Given a choice, I'd rather have them this late every year, because that means, you know, great things are happening on the football field, and you know, that's good for everybody. So you know, it'll be a little bit different, you know, as far as, you know, figuring out their training, you know, come the indoor season. But at the same time, like I said, I'd much rather have them play until January every year, because that's the excitement that's created, not only in the department but really throughout the community and across campus, and for all Sam Houston grads. It has been great.
Okay. Are there any other football guys that kind of expecting or hoping that come out and run this?
Actually, Coach Fritz has come by and talked to me about a few guys that he would like to encourage to come out, which is always nice for a track coach to hear that. You know, he's mentioned a few names. You know, Richard Sincere, obviously, and then Dak Swanson, and then possibly Torrance Williams. Those guys have got, you know, great speed on the field. We'd like to, you know, translate some of that to.
What about Keyshawn Hill?
Oh yeah, I see it. Another one I didn't even. You know, Keyshawn Hill, who was a true freshman running back. You know, did really, when he came in on his visit. You know, part of him, you know, making the decision to come to Sam was, you know, he would have the opportunity to be able to do both, and compete in both track and field and football. And he was a great jumper as he signed with football, and his senior year in high school had a breakout year. Jumped, I think it was 23.6 or 23.7 or so in the long jump, and jumped over 49 feet in the triple jump. So, you know, he's a guy that has a lot of tools to work with, and is going to add to an already talented group. But, you know, you're never going to turn those kind of guys away. And, you know, hopefully there's some things we can teach him on the track that, you know, all those guys can bring back onto the field, you know, next fall, and do even better things, and hopefully we'll be making plans to go to Frisco again next year.
Yeah. Kind of wrap it up. Tell me about the attitude of the team, or kind of the chemistry, or kind of what their mindset is, and maybe what the athletes' goals are for this track season.
Well, as always, one of the things we talk about in being part of the staff that we had a string of conference championship success. Make no mistake, it's always our goal. We want to go in and we want to win a conference championship as a team. They want to do that. We've actually had a group now that there's none of the athletes are left on this team that remembers what it's like to win some of those championships. So people are very hungry, very motivated. That they've set that as a goal with themselves. Obviously track being a little bit different, it's an individual sport. You can have great individual success, collect a lot of accolades and awards on your own. But at the same time, they want to win as a team. They've gotten together, and here the vast majority of the team will be back here January 2nd. We're starting training, and everybody's ready to go. And we have that goal in mind that we want to be Southland Conference champions.
Thank you for your time today. It's a good interview.
Thank you. Appreciate it.